Sunday, April 25th, we have the moon in Libra. So as we've been kind of exploring, yes, we're in the full moon window of Scorpio, which means that we're feeling the intensity, we're feeling the pull, we're feeling the darkness, we're feeling the shadow side. And that moon in Libra wants us to hold on to balance so bad. We're really struggling because we're being pulled in the dark side. And then that moon in Libra is like, oh, but hey, let's keep in the shallow end. Let's not jump in there. Let's not go to the deep end. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just stay where everything is cool, everything is happy, where we can still be, graceful, where we can find peace, where we can find harmony. Let's just stay in the shallow end. And of course, we have those moments of the full moon building in its intensity, pulling us into the dark side, pulling us into the negativity of our minds and of our heart space. Why? Because we have a job to do. We have to acknowledge the unconscious patterns and behaviors of our frequency in order to illuminate them, bring them into consciousness, make ourselves aware of what the program in our human avatar has us repeating. That's how we make change. That's how we bust free. That's how we ascend, by taking a good look, by acting as the observer, emotionally detaching and saying, hey, I noticed that I think this way at certain times, or hey, I noticed that my gut reaction to certain situations is to do this. You recognize the pattern, you bring the unconscious into conscious form, make yourself aware, and then choose to do differently. That's how change takes place. That's how ascension takes place. That is what enlightenment is all about. So the moon in Libra wants us to stay in the shallow end, wants us to maintain our balance, wants just peace and harmony and everybody to get along and everybody to be happy. And that full moon energy is pulling us into the darkness, saying, screw that. We have to be sad. We have to be angry. We have to feel the guilt and the resentment. Why? So that we can release it. We have to acknowledge it, integrate it, release it so that we can move on. So the moon in Libra is actually trining Saturn here today, Saturn being the lord of karma, rules and restrictions, roles and responsibilities, maturing through tough love life lessons. And the moon is also making an aspect with Venus and Mercury, both in Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus as well. So to kind of break this conversation down, this is a whole lot of, okay, we really have to think about what's fair here. We have to think about maintaining our balance. We have to think about what it is that, is going to make us happy, is going to make other people happy. That Venus energy wants to up our self-worth, up our vibration. It wants to only kind of pour its attention and energy into relationships of value, using skills and talents that we've learned to accumulate new money, right? Pouring that new worth, that new value monetarily in our lives. And we want to set new goals for ourselves. Why? Because we're transforming. That's what this is all about. We had new ideas, new passions, new desires be ignited under the Aryan energy, under the new calendar that we're in, under the spring equinox. And now we're in Taurus season. What are we going to build? What are we going to create? What is worthy of our time? We have to ground that energy into our physical realm and actually do something in our physical realm in order to align with the changes that we know we have to make. So the moon, which is our emotions, which is our unconscious self, which is our intuition, is saying, hey, I want peace. I want harmony. And all of these other aspects from Venus, from Mercury, from Saturn is saying, okay, well, we really have to have a good conversation with ourselves first and foremost about reevaluating what actually means the most to us, who means the most to us. And of course, wouldn't be as much fun if there wasn't a total inner conflict going on. So we have the moon opposite Chiron, that wounded healer planetoid, very attached to our ego and our identity. And the moon is saying to Chiron, okay, well, I'm not ready to deal with any of this. I don't want to feel the pain. I don't want to feel the wounds. I want to stay in the shallow end. I want to stay bubbly. I want to stay happy. So outside of what the moon is going through, because that seems like an awful lot, We have Mercury and Venus conjunct with one another, sitting right next to each other in the cosmos. And this is going to open up a conversation about the reevaluating that we have to do around our worth, around what we want, around what we deserve, especially in love and money matters, because that is where our inner value becomes our external mirror of what it is that we actually feel about ourselves. Keep in mind, our exterior realities is merely mirroring back to us the inner work that we're doing inside of ourselves. So Mercury and Venus, both in Taurus energy, very deliberate, very focused, very tunnel vision on making sure that we are only spending time using our energy on things of worth and value that are going to be around for a long time. To make matters even more interesting, Mercury and Venus sitting together are squaring Saturn. Square is a tension point. It is a crisis point. Saturn brings us down, gets us very serious, right? We feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. And this is really pushing us to see where it is that we are unsatisfied, where it is that we have detached, where it is that we do feel isolated, where it is that we feel unloved and misunderstood. This is really going to put a strain on our communication styles, on our relationships, on the way that we feel internally about what's going on in our external worlds. Of course, we're in this full moon window, which is activating all of these very intense emotions and is really trying to illuminate for us where it is that the uncomfortability of our lives is no longer tolerable. This is how great change is actually made.